Now, this afternoon on the marketplace, 650 million cedi stimulus package reaches more than 300,000 businesses since last year. But supervising agency rejects claims of selective disbursement.
Even when they get it, they'll tell you, no, I haven't got it. But we have data to boost and to back what we have to say. So I know that. So without any doubts, I'm not worried about it because I know they got it.
Also, International Finance Corporation, together with the Ministry of Finance, settles on July for the rollout and financing of 100 billion cedi Ghana Cares program. Plus, Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture sets to develop 2 iconic tourist attraction sites in each of the 5 regions of the northern part of Ghana. We have all these coming up shortly after this break this day. Welcome back. Now, more than 300,000 businesses in the country have received their share of the COVID-19 stimulus package from government. According to Ghana Enterprises Agency, formerly the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, more than 600 million cedis has been disbursed to these enterprises. Speaking on PM Express, the business edition, the chief executive of the agency, Koshi Yankee-Aye, however, rejected claims of selective disbursement.
So initially about 650 million was the first tranche of it. Of that, majority of that has been given out. The rest are also with the banks for the people to go in and get their accounts. And then looking at that, give or take the 1,500 plus businesses who have not come for it, and that would have to reallocate as well. The truth is that data doesn't lie, does it? You know, that's why we use technology, because we wanted to be able to track, and the data did not lie. So we have the data. You know, we use data intentionally because we knew issues like this would come up. People say, oh, I never got it. Oh, my people never got it. Or I didn't get what I asked for. But we have the data, right? And what we did and we continuously did was to engage the associations. I remember one time there was one association that came out, the Creative Arts Association. People were saying, oh, we didn't get it, right? You remember? Yeah. Oh, we didn't get it. Then it came to, what do you mean? So the same person who had come out and published something came back to actually also say, I'm sorry, but I just found out that people got it and didn't talk about. One thing I've realized is that people don't like talking about money, right? And most instances,
everybody private. Everybody
is private. Ghanaians are private people to a large extent. So even when they get it, they'll tell you, no, I haven't got it. But we have data to boost and to back what we have to say. So I know that. So without any doubts, I'm not worried about it because I know they got it. At some instances, they said, oh, the sector hadn't. But the creative arts sector had about 45 million Ghana cedis pumped into it. People said, oh, the schools didn't get it. We pumped a lot of money into the schools, right? Almost 30 million plus as well. And they got it. And the schools have it. We have the list of the schools. We know the exact banks in which we pushed the funding through, the sectors and the associations and the leadership. Yes, they got it. You know, and I think it's important to realize that that is why it's important for us to be audited on that level, for people to really see the truth. And as I have said, data doesn't lie.
Now, the 650 million cedi coronavirus alleviation program business support, that's a CARES program scheme, was set up by government to support firms that were badly hit by COVID-19. Away from that, the Finance Ministry and the International Finance Corporation have agreed on a roadmap on the financing and rollout of the 100 billion Ghana cedi CARES program. Speaking to Joy Business after a 2-day workshop with the IFC, the Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, revealed that the roadmap, which will be available in July, will include the fiscal commitment on the side of IFC for the financing of the CARES program.
What we are going to do is that there's now a team that is going to look at the framework and the way forward to align it to the 3 years that's remaining of the Obatampa program. And that will then lead to issues of how much capital to commit, how quickly transactions are done, which areas we are going to focus on to power us through, and then also look at the doing business in the country issue so that we resolve all of those things that do not help in the acceleration of industry and growth.
So what timeline exactly are we looking at? through all these,
It's really about a month to be able to get a framework, and then we are on the Obatampa 3-year run through 2023-2024. I beg your pardon? The team from both sides, yeah, that's correct. I mean, we had deep dives into agric, into ICT, into hospitals, into mortgage financing, all of that these past 2-3 days. But it's really going to show that the thought that has gone through the Ghana Cares program and how we have clearly identified the importance of the youth to cross us over, and therefore how to facilitate a strong and confident and entrepreneurial country. I think one of the issues is how does the state become entrepreneurial, and therefore to de-risk the areas that Ghanaian entrepreneurs will go into, and that's a focus, for us. So this will all help so that when you finish school, you are not looking at coming to immigrations or the public sector, but actually creating jobs by yourself. It's no more, a factory with 10,000 workers, but it's actually 10,000 entrepreneurs having 2 or 3 workers.
Meanwhile, Ken Ofori-Atta has reiterated government's commitment to providing support to the private sector to expand and create jobs, a move that will help alleviate the pressure on government. According to him, government will continue to champion entrepreneurship as a means of creating more jobs. He made these comments during the Springboard Foundation's virtual convocation on the theme Bouncing Back from COVID and Finding Opportunities.
Stirred by stories and life-changing ones by some of the youth on the strip. Obed, Evelyn, and Michael. Michael talking about dropping out as a dropout and therefore selling yogurt in the streets, and is now a senior manager at a hospitality management professional, and has worked with international brands such as Golden Tulip, etc., etc. Then there was Evelyn, who received clarity on career progression that led to her to choose a profession in environmental sustainability, and is currently working with a reputable company in Brong-Ahafo, and also Obed, whose entrepreneurial spirit and vision was awakened during Springboard and took steps to establish a printing company that currently employs 14 people in the Sunyani area. So this is what we are looking for. It's not, government continuing to hire 700,000 people into the public and civil service that results in close to 60% of our revenue being expended on them. But truly finding a way in which anybody who has skills that we must provide will form their own company and hire these 14 people. Not a factory with 10,000 people working, but 10,000 people who have their own businesses and employing 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, 14 people. That is the story of the future.
You're still watching The Marketplace. You're taking a short break. We'll be right back. Just stay. Now, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has rejected claims by farmers that there are inadequate fertilizers on the market. It has also rubbished the assertions that the few fertilizers on the market are barely subsidized for the farmers. According to the Director of Crop Services, Seth Osei-Akoto, the issue is due to the increased smuggling of fertilizers through the best though to the best of his knowledge, his outfit has provided the needed quantity of fertilizers. He was speaking at the sensitization workshop and policy dialogue on planting for food and jobs campaign.
Some farmers have raised concerns that there are inadequate fertilizers on the market. According to them, the few fertilizers are barely subsidized for them to be able to purchase. Reacting to the issues raised, Director of Crop Services at the Agric Ministry, Seth Osei-Akoto, debunked the assertions.
Last week, I was in the northern part of the country, even where farmers have started preparing their lands. There are a lot of fertilizers in some of the shops. And I have a data that today I'm having a technical meeting with the minister. So I had to prepare my visit and let me read to his hearing. And we normally do comparison. 2019, May, what was the distribution like? 2020, what was the distribution like? 2021, what was the distribution like? Now fertilizers, that he's talking about. 2019, May ending, we had almost 60,000. 2020, 34,048 metric tons. And then 2021, we had 21,986. So why lies that the farmers are not accessing fertilizers?
National President of the Peasant Farmers Association, Abdul Rahman Mohammed, indicated government's inability to pay suppliers is contributing to the inadequate supply of fertilizers. He also said the reduction of fertilizer from 50% to 38% for farmers is having a toll on their production.
The reduction of the subsidy component from 50% to 38% will put a lot of pressure on the smallholder farmer, especially women, given the impact of COVID-19 on the activities of farmers. Secondly, considering that we are in the month of June, which is the planting period for most farmers, it has become very frustrating for our members who are unable to access subsidized fertilizer. As I'm talking to you, there is no single subsidized fertilizer on the market, even though the ministry has given directive for supplies to start distributing fertilizer.
The Peasant Farmers Association, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, organized a sensitization workshop and policy dialogue on Planting for Food and Jobs campaign to interact with stakeholders on challenges and the way forward.
The Trade and Industry Ministry has been urged to immediately develop a policy for export processing zones in the country to lay a solid foundation for its strategic management. That's a call from the Africa Center for Economic Transformation. According to the group, a conscious effort must be made to develop infrastructure that improves the business environment. There is more in this report.
The African Center for Economic Transformation brought together government officials, civil society organizations, policymakers and industry representatives to a workshop to validate and discuss sustainable export processing zones development in the country. Speaking to Joy Business on the sidelines of the workshop on the theme, Promoting Sustainable Export Processing Zones Development, consultant for the group Dr. Frank Edu said the Free Zones Authority must employ deliberate and proactive strategies to connect the economy to activities at the zones.
We did the assessment based on 4 different dimensions of sustainability: economic, environmental, social, and then technological sustainability. So we wanted to see the extent to which all these dimensions are being implemented in the export processing zone. We found out that economically, the zone, the free zones concept, as it exists right now, is not sustainable because practically employment has frozen. It has stalled at a particular point. If you look at FDI attraction, it is even going down. If you compare it to the mining sector kind of dwarfs the investment in the export processing zone. So very much like all the reasons why we created the zones for, we are not achieving it. So we need to do something differently. So basically that is what we are saying, that we need to review the act. We need to do a functional review of the concept. Apart from that, we even need to look at the LI again, how they operate. We want to kind of eliminate, or to some extent, the human element in the compliance regime, because the current regime as it stands gives room for a lot of corruption, underhand dealings, and rot.
Policy analyst and communication strategist Dr. Steve Mantial called for a review of the Free Zones Act to enable the nation benefit from the establishment of the Free Zones area.
In 25 years on, since the inception of the Free Zones arrangement, we still haven't done any major review. But at least I like the assurances I'm getting from the Free Zones Board, or is now authority, that such review is in process and it may lead to either a replacement or an overhaul of the legislative framework for the implementation of the Free Zones program in Ghana. That is good to hear. And I think it's a rational thing to do, and it's a lesson for Ghana. Anytime we initiate a program with its clear objectives stated, we need to be able to undertake periodic reviews to tweak here and there to ensure that we don't miss out on the intended benefits of the program.
Among the issues discussed was how the government of Ghana will reconcile its export processing zones development policies with regional developments such as the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Government has committed to revive the Amin Sangari factory in Cape Coast to provide jobs and support the local economy there. The management of the company follows its shutdown, expressed optimism about a $3.8 million bank support to revamp the factory. According to the company, negotiations for support were advanced with a leading financial institution in the country and the One District, One Factory Secretariat to revive the factory. Central Regional Minister Justina Marigold Hassan, who toured the facility to assess it, gave the assurance. Richard Kojinako has more in this report.
The Amin Sangari factory started its operation 10 decades ago. In 1978, the factory was incorporated as Amin Sangari Limited. The factory has 6 sections: a section that produces palm oil, palm kernel oil, vegetable oil, soap and other detergents, and the new section, the teak section. 5 years ago, the company started struggling with the challenge of power for production, staff pilfering, and financial management issues. COVID-19 became the last straw that broke the camel's back, and the factory was shut down for restructuring. A consultant to the company, Perry Mensah, says reviving the company's operations was critical, and their hopeful government interest would be a major boost towards the revival of the factory.
Amin used to employ about 600 workers. By the time they shut down, they had about 280 workers. This is the main source of livelihood for people in Cape Coast and its environs, because even with the palm fruit supply, there are a lot of agencies coming right down from Chifu-Praso, Abra Dunkwao, Asimfosu, and the rest, bringing fruit here to buy. So once the factory is shut down, you know the problems. Now, government, I think the citizens petitioned government, and government has made an effort by letting Ministry of Trade and Industry come in, convene the meeting, because Amin had already applied to the One District, One factory. Now, Amin has been given to Commercial Bank, to do the necessary credit checks and all that. And then, if it is possible, the money is given to Amin.
Central Regional Minister Justina Marigold Hassan, who toured the facility to have a first-hand information of the struggles and the prospect of the company, indicated government would support the revival of the factory. She says she would work with the management of the company and other key stakeholders to promote sustainable development in the region.
They have what it takes to produce and to revive this factory. So we are assuring Amin Sangari that they're going to partner them. Government is going to partner them seriously. Thankfully, they have taken the steps already, written to One District, One Factory Secretariat for assistance, and it's bankable. So they've given them to Commercial Bank for capital injection. We are just going to speak to the relevant stakeholders for them to realize that money to make this place revive again. One beautiful thing that they told me, and I am very much happy about, is the teak plant they have, for which if they get the government to support them to produce, then they may not even need Commercial Bank coming in to give them the money. So these are two-way effects that we're going to look at how best we can support them.
The regional minister was convinced Ghana's industrial sector had become a significant driver of growth in recent years, and Amin Sangari, if revived, could be of a greater source of support for the local economy in Cape Coast. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kojinako, Cape Coast.
Now, the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture is set to develop 2 iconic tourist attraction sites in each of the 5 regions of the North. The ministry's target is to generate more than $5 billion by the close of 2022 through tourism, arts and culture from the area. The project, a collaboration between the ministry and the Northern Development Authority, is aimed at kickstarting the development process and stimulate growth to access the human and social development of the area while creating visibility to magnetize domestic and international tourists and visitors.
Speaking at the validation of the Northern Ghana Tourism Development Strategy NGTDS in Tamale, head of monitoring and evaluation at the Ministry of Tourism, Dr. Alphonsus Kumaza, who delivered a speech on behalf of the minister, Dr. Ibrahim Awal, said the northern part of Ghana is endowed with tourism assets yet untapped. He said the strategy is to provide the basis for concrete implementation plans and various assessment procedures towards the realization of the Northern Development Tourism Development Goal.
I'm determined to develop 2 iconic tourism attractions in each of the 5 northern regions to kick-start the development process and stimulate growth to address the human and social development quagmires while creating visibility to magnetize domestic and international tourists and visitors. Capitalizing on and leveraging the existing abundant tourism fundamentals, coupled with the President's recent launch of the domestic and regional tourism campaign, your effort today to give the sector a solid tourism strategy to govern and revolutionize sustainable tourism practice in the northern part of Ghana fits into the overall gamut of my ambition to make tourism, arts and culture industry the #1 contributor to gross domestic product, while creating more than 1 million new jobs and employment. It also dovetails into my avowed agenda to generate more than $5 billion by the close of 2020 through tourism, arts and culture.
The acting chief executive officer of the Northern Development Authority, Boniface Gambila, said the overall objective of the NGTDS is to leverage the rich tourism and cultural resources in the Northern Development Zone to competitively position the area as a preferred tourist destination in the country and the West African sub-region.
This strategy is Northern Ghana focused and outlines specific actions and targets aimed at developing a vibrant tourism industry that will create some amount of jobs for our youth and our men and women. It will hopefully reduce poverty and above all increase per capita income within our northern zone. Chairman, the potential contribution of tourism, arts and culture to national development and transformation has often been underestimated.
You're still watching The Marketplace here with me, Charles Aite. You know, whenever it comes to businesses and the community, graphic business has always been at the tops with this graphic business breakfast meeting to update CEOs and the business community on trends that really pertain to the various markets and industries. Today, thankfully, we're joined by Theophilus Yatteh, the editor of Graphic Business, together with Kojo Akwe, right? I believe so, yeah, the manager of communications at Stanbic Bank. Gentlemen, we're so grateful that you joined us. So I want to start off with you, Mr. Yatteh. What exactly is going to be the fulcrum of, this particular edition of the Graphic Business Breakfast Meeting?
Okay, so we're going to focus on digitalization.
Okay.
Digitization because we believe that at this stage in our national life, everything we do, every activity, be it economic activity, whichever, revolves around digitization.
Exactly.
So we want to have a discussion on how we can unlock the Ghanaian dream through digitalization.
So Graphic Business Stanbic Bank Breakfast Meeting, I should add. And of course, being the head of communications at Stanbic Bank, what exactly should we be expecting from, your quarter?
So from our side, it's more like offering a platform.
Okay.
So backing Graphic, who have been great partners all these years, the past 5-6 years, to just give the chance to the right thought leaders in the country to help us drive the right conversations. As Joe was saying, we all think that the modern world is with us, but do we really understand that we are in a digital age? And if we are in a digital age and we have situations in a country where people are complaining about all manner of challenges and issues that need to be fixed, I suspect, or we suspect, that somewhere in the service industry or all the structures we're talking about, modernizing or formalizing the structures give us a chance for the great takeoff that we've been waiting for. And I think that's what this platform offers, where academia, members in the digital industry, and then those who teach all come on board to offer the best practices, and then we take it from there. You notice the Vice President and then the Ministry of Communications have been very forceful in this direction.
Exactly.
And we suspect that we can help to push that same big thing.
All right.
Issues around financial literacy, cash light economy and all that revolve around the issue of digitization. And that's what we are going.
Great. Let me end with you, Mr. Yatteh. So what's going to be the theme and why should people participate on Tuesday?
Okay, so the theme is digitization, the key to unlocking the Ghanaian dream.
Okay.
And people should participate because now, like I said earlier, every human activity revolves around digitalization. I'll give you a typical instance. When you wake up in the morning, you take your phone.
Okay.
Everything you do, it's your phone. I'm sure if you're isolated right now, you ask that you need your phone. So,
Great.
so that's the reason why we believe that
Perfect.
the topic is very important.
We shall have more of these discussions, especially when this matters closely to the business community. We're so grateful, gentlemen, that you joined us for this very, short interaction. But we shall have more on Tuesday, the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank Breakfast Meeting. My name is Charles Aite, though. Many thanks for watching The Marketplace.